Hello everybody and welcome back to One Nerd to Rule Them All. In today's video, we uncover the life of perhaps one of the most mysterious creatures in Tolkien's legendarium. The one being who could see Frodo without the One Ring and is implied to be the first being in Middle-earth. Of course we are talking about Tom Bombadil. So without further ado, let's get into the video. The origins and nature of Tom Bombadil are unknown. However, he claimed he already existed before the Dark Lord came to Arda, implying that he may have been alive even before the coming of the Valar. It is unclear whether he refers to Melkor's first or second entry into the world. In any case, Tom is insinuated to have been the first living creature to inhabit Middle-earth. When Tom eventually left where he came from and arrived in Middle-earth, he wandered and explored, having witnessed the emerging of the forests and the rain. While his role and nature in the First and the Second Age are unknown, it is possible that he may have witnessed most major events and battles. He also witnessed the reducing of the great forests that covered all of Middle-earth, and perhaps of his powers. The level of his interactions with the outside world is also unclear. However, he perhaps became a folkloric figure in the traditions and legends of elves, dwarves, and men. As a result of this, he came to be known by many names during his pilgrimage. The elves called him Ilarwain, meaning old, young, presumably because as far as anyone remembered, he'd always looked the same, and they also called him Ben Arda, meaning without a father. He was also known as Orold to men and Faun to the dwarves. At the end of his wanderings, Tom focused his exploration only on Eriador, making him the first to reside in the west even before the elves moved there and the tides were folded. In this period of his journey down the Withy Whiddle to the Brandywine River, several of the valley's mysterious residents, including the river spirit Goldberry, also known as the River Woman's Daughter, the malevolent tree spirit Old Man Willow, and the Badger folk, attempted to capture Bombadil for their own ends, but quailed at the power of Tom's voice. His voice defeated their enchantments and commanded them to return to their natural existence. Ultimately, Bombadil was captured and married to Goldberry when she pulled Tom by his beard under the water lilies out of mischief, but he ordered her to set him free. The next day he came to the River Woman and asked Goldberry to be his wife, and the creatures of the Old Forest attended their wedding. It is untold of what time Tom settled into his domain outside of the Old Forest, but it is known that he dwelt there when the Third Age began, seeing the rise and fall of Angmar and its wars that led to the Barrow Downs being inhabited by the Barrow Wights. He also saw the arrival of hobbits into the region that would become the Shire, which led him occasionally to interact with the Little Folk, mostly in Buckland. He eventually was named Bombadil in Bucklandish by the Bucklanders, which would become the name he adopted. Perhaps it was because of his contact with them, and that he had a cheerful and whimsical attitude. A tale says that Tom is challenged by hobbits and various forest folk on his journey down the Withy Whiddle to the Brandywine River, where hobbits live in Haysend, including Willow Wren, Fisher Blue, Whiskerlad, and Old Swan, but he charmed them all with his voice, ending his journey at the farm of Farmer Maggot, where he drinks ale and dances with the family. At the end, the charmed birds and otters work together to bring Bombadil's boat home. At some point he also ventured into Bree and met Barlam in Butterbur, the owner of the Prancing Pony. In 3018, Frodo and his company had a chance meeting with Bombadil in the Old Forest, after a nearly disastrous encounter with Old Man Willow. Frodo, who had fled from the tree looking for help, enlisted Bombadil, who'd been out gathering water lilies. Bombadil went immediately with Frodo to the tree and commanded it to release its prisoners, Merry and Pippin, which it immediately did. He then invited Frodo and his companions to his home, where the hobbits had an almost dreamlike stay, feasting and making merry with Tom. In this state, Frodo rather inadvertently told Tom all about the One Ring and his quest, and when Tom asked to inspect the ring, Frodo, without question and without any reluctance, that tended to accompany giving the ring to another allowed him to. Tom then put the ring on his finger, yet not only did he not disappear, but the ring appeared to have no effect on him at all. After making the ring itself vanish with a sleight of hand trick, he returned it to Frodo, who, slightly suspicious that it had not made Tom vanish, put it on to make sure it was the genuine ring. Tom surprised him yet again by revealing that he could see Frodo even with the ring on, and told Frodo to remove it, stating that his hand was fairer without it. After 2 days of resting and feasting at Tom's home, the hobbits set out again, only to be captured the next day by wights on the Barrow Downs. Fortunately, Tom had taught Frodo a magical song to call Tom to him. So Frodo sang it and Tom came to the rescue and opened the barrow. After this, he escorted the hobbits to the border of his land and left them there. However, the peril of the hobbits was not over. An attack on their lives was carried out, and their ponies were set loose. The ponies apparently remembered the care they were given at the house of Tom Bombadil, and returned to stay beside Tom's own pony, Fatty Lumpkin. He returned them to Barlam and Butterbur, since he had paid 18 pence as compensation for their loss. He was now the owner of 5 fine ponies. Over a month later, Tom became the topic of discussion at the Council of Elrond. There, Elrond, who had apparently met Tom in time long past, reminisced about him briefly, before the question was put before the council on whether or not to give the ring to Tom, as it appeared as though Tom may have had the power over even the ring within his lands. However, Gandalf quickly dismissed the idea, saying that rather than Tom having power over the ring simply had no power over Tom. He was immune to its influence, but he could not alter it. Additionally, it was believed by Gandalf that if he asked all of the free people of the world to take the One Ring, he might be willing to do so, but he would not understand the reason. Gandalf believed Tom would have likely either forgot about it or thrown it away, as such things had little relevance to him. It was also mentioned that taking the ring back to him would be impossible to accomplish without it becoming known to Sauron, and that sooner or later, Sauron would bend all of his power towards Tom's realm to take the ring back. Despite his mastery within his realm, it is assumed that Tom would not have cared or been able to keep the ring contained to his realm. After the One Ring was destroyed, Gandalf spent some time with Bombadil. It is unknown how the meeting involved or what was discussed. Gandalf says, in response to Frodo's query on how well Bombadil is getting along, that he is as well as ever, quite untroubled, and not much interested in anything that we have done and seen, except perhaps for their encounters with the Ents. When Frodo sails into the west and leaves Middle-earth, he has what seems to him the very experience that has appeared to him in the house of Bombadil in his dream on the second night. Through 2 of Sam's poems, Tom Bombadil's wandering tales would be passed on to future generations of the hobbits through the Red Book of Westmarch. I decided to make this video in light of Tom's appearance in the Amazon series Rings of Power. Due to his apparently neutral stance in matters concerning Sauron and the One Ring, it's said he's going to be taking on more of the role of a teacher in the series, so we will see how that plays out. Anyway, this brings me to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't joined the Fellowship already. Anyway, that is all from me. I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. Bye for now.